The text on my phone glowed in the dim hallway light as I pushed open the door to our building. Running behind at the office, be home soon. I hadn't even cleared the screen when the night security guard looked up from his desk and spoke in that careful, low tone people use when they're sorry for what they're about to say. He's already in the penthouse lounge with his fiancée. I stopped mid-step, hand still on the door handle. No gasp, no rush of blood to my face. It felt like the last piece of a puzzle I'd been assembling in silence for months finally snapping into place. The hallway marble reflected the soft overhead lights in long, cold lines. That was exactly how the calm felt inside me. Smooth, hard, unbreakable. To understand how I got here, you have to go back further. My name is Zara. I'm a freelance journalist specializing in investigative features for online magazines, mostly stories about corporate ethics, hidden power dynamics, people who build empires on quiet deceptions. My work trains you to notice patterns, the way someone's story shifts when pressed, the small lie that ripples into bigger ones, the detail that doesn't fit the narrative they're selling. I've spent years training my eye to catch what people try to bury. I just never expected the biggest story would be the one living under the same roof as me.
Rahul was a senior executive in a fast-growing fintech startup. He had the look, polished executives perfect over time, tailored suits that fit like they were made for camera, hair always just so, voice smooth enough to sell anything to anyone. At industry panels, he'd speak with that measured confidence, pausing exactly long enough to let the audience lean in. People left conversations with him feeling smarter, seen, important. I used to feel proud standing beside him. It felt like I'd married someone destined for bigger rooms. Ambition is magnetic, until it starts treating your life like a stepping stone. The shifts started so gradually I could convince myself they were nothing. Roughly 6 months ago, he began taking longer to get ready in the mornings, standing at the mirror, adjusting his tie knot 3 times instead of 1, checking the angle of his collar, running a comb through his hair more deliberately. "Big day ahead?" I'd ask from the bathroom door. "Just another meeting," he'd say, but his reflection would glance away for a fraction of a second before smiling back at me. I noted it. He'd always been particular about presentation. Then the evenings stretched, client dinners that ended after midnight, coming home with his shirt still crisp but carrying a trace of perfume that wasn't mine, something expensive, floral, the kind you wear when you want to be remembered. "Elevator was packed," he'd explain. "Someone must have been standing close." I didn't question it. I didn't want to be the suspicious wife who turns every late night into an interrogation. One Friday, he walked in with a small gift bag. I opened it expecting something thoughtful, maybe a necklace or perfume for me. Inside was a luxury watch, sleek, understated, the price tag still tucked inside the box. "For who?" I asked quietly. "A thank you for a major investor," he replied instantly. "They closed the round because of my deck." I set the box down on the coffee table, went to pour water, and felt nothing sharp, just a slow cooling in my chest, like ice forming on a window pane.
Weeks passed, and the hints grew heavier. "My board is noticing me more," he said one night while we ate takeout. "Really?" I asked. "What shifted?" "Mostly the way I carry myself now. They value family stability at the top, grounded people. People who look like they can handle legacy." The word legacy sat there, loaded. He switched topics fast, asked about my latest article instead. Then came the questions that felt scripted. If a man gets offered a life upgrade, should his partner celebrate or feel threatened? Or, do you think image can sometimes matter more than substance when doors are opening? I answered honestly every time. Truth lasts longer than polish. He'd fall silent, staring at his plate like he was memorizing the cracks in the ceramic. I don't jump to conclusions without proof, but I started gathering fragments the way I gather sources, small, verifiable, building a picture.
Texts that went unread for hours during the day. Phone screen always turned away when it buzzed. Sudden interest in brands he used to call pretentious. A receipt for a high-end restaurant in the business district we'd never been to together. Networking lunch, he said when I asked. I didn't press. I just saved the image in my mind. The turning point was subtle. One evening, he left his phone on the kitchen counter while taking a call on the balcony. The screen lit with a notification preview. Dad really liked your presentation. Looking forward to the next one. No sender name visible, just that formal tone. Expectant, future-oriented. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't need more. The compliments he'd been practicing on me, the stability references, the polished appearance, it all connected. He wasn't living two lives out of passion. He was auditioning for one. The pattern accelerated. He asked me to co-sign a large personal loan. The bank needs proof of joint financial strength for higher approval, he explained. It's for the promotion packet. They want to see I can manage wealth responsibly. It sounded legitimate, corporate, boring. I signed. Not because I was blind, but because some part of me still wanted to support the man I thought I knew. That document became my quiet insurance policy.
After the funds transferred, he turned unusually gentle for a week. Extra texts, small gifts, compliments that felt rehearsed. Then the private calls began. I'd hear low murmurs from the study. Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm committed to proving my worth. Grateful for your guidance. When he emerged, I'd ask, who? Mentor from the investment team, he'd say. Smile too quick, too smooth. One night, the phone buzzed again while he was showering. Sender, Nisha. Message preview. The family appreciates reliability. You showed it tonight. I read it once, then let the screen go dark. Everything lined up like pins on a board. He left for another investor dinner 3 days later. Charcoal suit, fresh haircut, cologne reserved for high-stakes moments. I waited 15 minutes, then checked the shared location we'd had since early marriage days. The dot stopped at a private rooftop club. City views, velvet ropes, the kind of place where futures get bought and sold over cocktails. I took my coat, drove across town. The hostess recognized me from a charity gala last year. She hesitated, then whispered, "He's at corner booth 8, with her." I thanked her and walked in. The air smelled of aged oak and expensive whiskey. Booth 8 was tucked away, low lighting, privacy screens. Rahul sat leaning forward, that practiced smile in place, attentive, charming, controlled. Across from him sat Nisha, silk dress, hair in perfect waves, the quiet power of someone born into influence. On her finger, a ring that matched the watch he'd brought home months ago. She adjusted it slightly, letting the diamond catch the light. He watched like a man waiting for a score. It wasn't romance, it was strategy. Nisha was the daughter of the startup's founder and majority shareholder. The promotion wasn't merit-based anymore, it was dynastic, and I'd just loaned him the credibility to qualify. I didn't rush. I walked slowly, heels quiet on the carpet. Rahul saw me, smile freezing. "Zara, how did you—" I placed the folder on the table. Loan contract, transfer statements, everything in my name. The money he'd used to prove responsibility. I looked at Nisha. If you're building a future together, know the foundation was funded by his current wife's signature. Nisha didn't react dramatically. She read the pages, then met Rahul's eyes. No questions, just a slow exhale. She picked up her purse, stood, and left without a word. Her walk was steady, decisive, like someone stepping out of a bad investment. Rahul rose halfway. "This is not what it looks like. I can explain." His voice cracked. I held his gaze, cold, even. "Divorce filing tomorrow. Finish your drink." He followed me to the exit, whispering urgently, "You're destroying everything I've worked for." I kept walking. The night air outside felt clean, sharp. At home, I logged in and canceled every authorization tied to the loan.
Confirmation, instant. Morning after, lawyer's office, papers filed, joint accounts severed. I moved to a small loft downtown. Big windows, morning sun, no shadows from anyone else. News traveled in his world fast, suspension email by lunch, engagement quietly deleted from profiles, board called an urgent session, his curated image shattered quietly, piece by piece. I didn't gloat. I worked, took bigger assignments, traveled for interviews, found peace in late-night writing with only tea and city sounds. The loft is minimal. White walls, one framed photo from my last trip, room to breathe. I sometimes remember Booth 8, the way he angled his body just right, performing for the audience that could change his life. No anger left, just relief, like dropping a weight I didn't know I was carrying. That's how it ended. Not loud, not violent, just one calm step away from a table that was never meant for me. Have you ever pieced together the truth before it was spoken out loud? Ever walked away when staying meant shrinking yourself? Share in the comments. I read every single one. If this story touched something real in you, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. More honest stories ahead. Talk soon.